Hi there. If we have not met yet, my name is Carrie Wagner, co-founder of TapRoots, your wellness source located in Central Virginia, where you'll find a wide variety of homeopathic remedies made by leaders in the homeopathic industry like Boron, Highlands, WHP, and we are expanding our product line with new remedies or potencies weekly. So welcome. And just a reminder that we are not medical doctors. All the information we share today is for educational purposes only. We encourage you to do your own research. But as parents across the country are getting their children ready to go back to school, we thought this would be a perfect time to talk about back to school anxiety for parents and kids. I know our new school year here in Bedford County began this past week, and I personally have one child in each school this year, so it's an adjustment. And I have friends stepping into a new chapter of their life as they help children move out of their home and into their college dorm. And schools and colleges are changing mask mandates at the last minute. So homeopathy is here to help us manage our stress and anxiety and the emotional ups and downs that we're all going through. And not only will we discuss anxiety today, but we're also going to talk about some homeopathic prophylactics because we want to help our children not pick up every sickness when they do return to school. So my friend Melissa Crenshaw is here with us. She's a certified homeopath and lactation consultant with over 20 years experience empowering families to be on their way, on their journey for alternative healthcare. So thanks for being here with us, Melissa. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, our customers love you. We've had several visits just this past week who've had recent consultations with you, and I can sense a new hope in them after they receive protocols from you that are specific to their needs. So thank you for serving our community that way.
So glad. I'm so happy to do it. It blesses me to see people get better and to have hope, and then to see the follow-ups when they're getting better. It blesses me so much.
Oh, I agree. We love those testimonies. It's great. So Melissa offers consultations and classes, and the education you're getting today is free. So thank you for that. Let's get right to it. Children are returning to school. Some have already returned. Some are gearing up to return in the next few weeks. Some may be going back for the first time in a year in person, and others are moving out of their home and into a dorm or an apartment. So my first question comes from personal experience. As the first day of school approached last week, my children were getting nervous, and one of them can get so nervous that she feels real sick in the stomach. So what would you suggest in that type of situation?
Yeah, so anxiety, anticipatory anxiety, there are a couple of different things you can do. And my favorite is Gelsemium 30C, alternating with Caliphos 6C. And so not to be confused with Caliphos 6X, although if that's all you have, you can use it. But I believe this is a Banerjee protocol. So we always want to use the protocol the way it's written. So Gelsemium 30 alternating with Caliphos 6 every few hours or twice a day as needed. So that means Gelsemium at 3 o'clock, Caliphos at 6 o'clock, Gelsemium at 9 o'clock. Yeah, and then, on like that. So you go every 3 hours, the opposite remedy is how you alternate. And every 3 hours is a fine place to start. You might give it more often if it's a severe anxiety, and you start giving this protocol when the anxiety starts. So if the anticipatory anxiety starts a week before the event, start it then, and maybe you just do it twice a day then. If it starts an hour before the event, maybe you'll give it twice in that hour, right? And to hopefully help. And then there's a AAA anxiety. That we call it AAA, and it is Ambrogresia 30C, Anacardium orientale 30C, and Argentum nitricum 30C, all together at the same time. And you can do those every 1 to 12 hours. So again, the same. If it's very severe, maybe you'd give it every hour. If it's not so severe, maybe twice a day or once a day, but only until the person's feeling better. So those are two really good anticipatory anxiety remedies.
So how would you choose the Gelsemium versus the AAA protocol?
I just would start with Gelsemium and Caliphos. And then if
Okay.
you find that that's not working, so here's the 4-dose rule, right? So if after 4 doses, if you feel like Gelsemium and Caliphos aren't helping at all, zero change, then try the other one.
Okay. Great advice. I love that. And Gelsemium 30 is what I used for my children that were
Awesome.
feeling nervous right before school. And I could tell it
Wonderful.
made a big difference. We did,
Good.
it just started like the day before. So we
Yeah.
did a dose the night before school, the morning of, and they were much more at ease, which was so great to
good.
see. Yes. What if a child is reacting in more of an aggressive way? Maybe they're throwing temper tantrums or they scream or cry a lot.
Gosh, so maybe Ignatia. Ignatia might be a good one. 200 once or twice a day. If you choose once a day, I'll do that at night before bed. Aggressive. So maybe chamomilla. Chamomilla is great for an aggressiveness that, where the child is kicking, screaming, that that really anger is really good for chamomilla, a good indication of chamomilla. And I would do chamomilla 200, just the same way that you're doing the other ones,
Okay.
twice a day or more if needed.
I love the examples that you gave with spacing it out every 3 hours. That's very helpful.
Awesome.
What about if, I don't know if it would be the same if it's they can't fall asleep because they're, it's the anticipatory nervousness. What would it be the same remedies if they're just not able to fall asleep?
So Caliphos and Gelsemium are really good at that. But if they can't fall asleep because their mind is racing and they're overthinking things, and they're thinking, what if nobody likes me? What if I don't have any friends? What if I do something embarrassing? What if I don't like my teacher? All those things. If they're overthinking everything, then I would do Coffea 200 right before bed, or maybe even 30 minutes before bed. And they could take that again in the middle of the night. So maybe they have it next to their bed, if you would allow that, and they can take it in the middle of the night if they wake up and they're overthinking everything and really, it's an overthink, not a worry.
Right.
So Ignatia is worry. So if they're super worried about everything, then I would do Ignatia. But you could do Ignatia and Coffea. So if they're very worried and they're nervous all day and they've got all this anxiety, then Ignatia 200 twice a day. And if it's preventing them from sleeping because their mind is overactive, then the Coffea.
Okay. And could you alternate the Ignatia and the Coffea if all of that's going on?
Yeah, so not really alternate, but I would do Ignatia only once or twice a day, and then Coffea, you could do 15 minutes apart from the Ignatia doses, and also in the middle of the night for the Coffea, and that's Coffea Cruda. There are other Coffea, so I want to be clear, it's Coffea Cruda.
Okay, great. So how about mom or dad if they're feeling anxious about masks or no masks or worrying about their child for any reason?
Yeah, that worries always Ignatia. Well, Ignatia is always the best place to start. So there are lots of remedies for worry, but Ignatia 200 twice a day is a great place to start when there's worry.
And you always start with the 200 rather than the 30?
Absolutely, yeah. 30 I would only use if that's all I had. I would order the 200.
Okay. And then same for empty nesters, if they're having the emotional ups and downs, and maybe, again, if they're worrying, Ignatia, or if they're just even sad or missing their children.
Yeah, Ignatia will be really good for those things. So if they're just super sad and it's like a grief, I remember when my oldest son moved away for the first time, it was a deep grief. I mean, I was beside myself. I just couldn't, I was a mess. And so that's more of a nat mirror, Nature Muraticum.
And what potency would you use that?
I would do that in maybe a 12X or a 30C once a day.
Once a day. Okay. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, but I remember what it felt like when my last child went off to kindergarten.
Yeah,
I was a mess. Okay, so let's shift gears and talk about prophylactic protocols. And if you want to explain what that even means, because I know it's something that every parent wants to know. What can we do to prevent the viruses or illnesses as they are going back and getting around these large groups of people and likely to bring something home.
Absolutely. So prophylaxis is prevention. And so homeoprophylaxis is using homeopathy to prevent illnesses. And so I never did this before 2019. So 2017, 18, 19, 3 years in a row, we got the flu in February. And 2019, I was like, that's it. No, that's it. This fall, we're going to do the Thuja protocol, and we have not been sick since then. So we're not very sickly people anyway, but my kids are in co-op with kids, and so they always would get sick just once a year, which is normal and appropriate. But we do the Thuja protocol, and that is Thuja 30C once a day for 1 week, and then once a week for 3 weeks, and then you stop. And that protocol can be found in my viruses guide, which is free on my website under the free resources tab, which is at the very bottom. And then also, though, there is Gelsemium as a prophylactic. So you can see Gelsemium through all of these things with school anxiety, prophylaxis. It's also great for if the person gets the flu. But Gelsemium 30C would be taken once a week if there's a flu outbreak distant from you. So you're hearing about it, in other cities or states, but it's not very close to you. And then when it starts to get into your community, so you start to know people. There's people at church, there are people at school, there are people in your neighborhood that are getting the flu or like virus, then you can do 30C once per day for a week as a prophylaxis. So nobody in your house is sick. That's how you would do it, once a day for a week. And then also influenzainum is a great prophylaxis. And I think that you sell that, right, Carrie?
We do at TapRoots, yes.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So there's specific directions for that I don't have memorized or written down. Do y'all have those?
We can get them from Boron, and I love that. If you want to explain how that remedy changes every year, how they make it.
Yeah, so influenzainum is a nosode, so it's made from the current flu strain for that year. So you buy it fresh every year.
Right. Like I remember last fall, we couldn't get it until sometime in October. It became available. So you want to make sure you have the right, the new one, the new batch.
That's right. And write the year on it, because when it comes to you, it's not going to say the year. It's just going to say influenzainum, probably 30 or 200.
Right.
And you want to write the year on it so you don't get confused. So you might think, well, why would I get confused? I'll just throw the old one away. I never throw remedies away.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Mm-hmm.
I have influenzainum from like the late 90s or early 2000s. I don't ever throw them away. And I mean, if I'm in a position where I run out of all remedies, and all I have left is influenzainum from 2005, I'm going to use it.
Right. Exactly. I don't throw them away either.
Yeah.
And I will say too, Gelsemium is obviously a must-have for the medicine cabinet for several reasons. Mm-hmm. But we also carry it in the buy two, get one free boxes. So nice. Gelsemium 30, Ignatia, only in the 30. And Thuja 30 that you also mentioned as the prophylaxis.
Wonderful.
So you can save some money there. But
yeah, so good. Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, if the children are the ones that are going to be around these groups of people, are they the one following the protocol, or would you say the whole family is following the protocol?
Good question. Yes, the whole family. So before my kids went to summer camp, the whole family did it. And nobody from summer camp, their church camp this summer got sick. But I heard of lots of people after camp. There was like an outbreak of something, and VBS. But we didn't have any of that. But anyway, and going back to school, going back to co-op, anytime you're going to be around lots of other children when you haven't been, we do the whole family. And so I often get asked, well, how often do you do this? I do it in the fall, again in the winter, and then again in the spring. And that's, so late spring, which is, right before summer camp. So, because summer doesn't start till June 22nd. So we're talking June. I would do it in June.
Would you say it's still effective if you begin the prophylactic protocol after school's begun? Because in our county, school's already begun.
Absolutely. Yes.
Mhm.
Do it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, that's great.
hmm
I think you gave a lot of really valuable information today, Melissa. If you're out there watching today and you need a professional to guide you on exactly which remedies to take at which potency and what frequency, then be sure to check out melissacrenshaw.com for information about a consultation. And that's also her website, where she mentioned earlier that she has free guides on what to do about these viruses and lots of other information. Would there be any other, before we do sign off, Melissa, were there any other prophylactic protocols you wanted to share?
Not prophylactic. No, not that I know of. But
Okay.
if you have another minute,
Yeah.
if you get the flu, if somebody starts to come down with something, I always start with aconite 200 mixed with bryonia 200. Just start there. Just do
Yes.
that first sign. Scratchy throat, do it. Just feeling kind of run down, do it. So I always start there with any kind of illness.
And at that first sign, are you suggesting every 3 hours or just?
Yeah,
Mhm.
if needed. So what happens with me is I take it once and I feel better, and then occasionally 12 to 24 hours later I'll feel it again and I take it again. So whenever
Okay.
you feel the thing, so you don't have to keep taking it, every 3 hours if you're not feeling anything anymore.
Right. Okay. Good to know. Another two remedies that I would never be without. I
Yes, yes.
love that. Thank
hmm
you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for watching. Thank you for your time, Melissa. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you appreciate the information that we're giving out here, and have a great rest of your day and stay safe. Bye
Thank
for now.
you. Thanks. Bye.